This is a British ship. It came with a 30 men, 30 British citizens to come, and then they get some slaves. The way they are turning back or returning back to England, the ship gets sink. It sank. So through them, a British authority said that they lost 30 men. They don't consider those slaves as people. They just lost 30 men. Now they start thinking how to stop the slavery and start another era, which is the industrialization that they consider as a revolution industrial revolution. Because the aim of slavery is to have a kind of free work. But because when they get those slaves, they put them to work without any payment. So now they start thinking about getting those things without using a slave way for it. The British people, they stopped slavery in 1807, followed by the American people in the next year, which is 1808. Yeah, they abolished the slavery. And then invite Portuguese people and French people to stop slavery in 1810. They invite those countries to stop slavery. And Portuguese people ask them, if you finish with that, how can we sustain our work? From there, British people was thinking how to give them, because Portuguese put them the question. Now they start thinking how to do to answer them. By then, they conclude that they have to do the conference, call it Vienna Conference, where they gather all the potentials. From there, they start industrializing the country, so then they'll be able to stop. Those countries, they promise to stop slavery step by step. And then they create a kind of companies that will be responsible of slavery trade. So it's no more the government itself or the government itself to come and do the slavery. They create a private companies that will be doing that. When they capture like 100% of slaves, they will be giving 80% to the government, and they will stay with 20% of those slaves. So then those private companies, when they come to Africa here to capture slaves, they will be paying some alcalis. Yes, they will giving them some percentage of the slave that they gather to take them away.
So it is important for us to know, like if you go to Dakar, Senegal, the first capital city was at Gorée. For us to understand and conceptualize what led to the transformation and shifting in industrial, particularly post-colonial era. Gambia in Banjul, the capital have never shifted. We can cooperate things and give a comparative analysis to what are the reasons why the capital shifted and what are the economic initiatives that we have put in forward after the imperialist period were exhausted. Here it serves as an important post because this marks the beginning of economic activities where slave trade were adopted and other diverse European explorers visited. Immediately from here, we will be proceeding to the monument there, where you will see different faces of names that you had before, but you have never seen how they look like, from Nino Tristão down to great Portuguese explorers. So let's take the moment and reflect on, please.
Welcome to Cacheu City. We are in memorial here.
Então, ali era um lugar onde kita bar raptar escravos de diferentes zonas, na costa ocidental da África.
Here is the place where they used to go around and capture many slaves in West Africa.
Então, Cacheu era um lugar de concentração, uma capital econômica, e que tinha escravos, tudo os escravos têm que concentrar ali, é para embarque.
Like here is a place of gathering those slaves. It's a economical capital city. So when they capture those slaves, they gather them here. And when the big ships come, they pick them to take them in Atlantic Ocean to take them away.
This is
the second place. The first place is stand there in the fort.
forte começa desde o século XV, no final do século XVI, no século XVII, começa a compor esse caso. Somos um caso comercial, também não é suficiente para pagar o número de escravos.
Before, they started since the 15th century, and at the end of 16th to 17th century, that they built this place because first it's not enough to keep those slaves. It wasn't enough. So then when they capture them, they bring them, they build this place to be able to keep those slaves.
Eu tenho que saber na altura, eu tenho que saber 3.000 escravos na cada ano. Aqui 3.000 escravos em lugar forte, pequenino. Daí quando eu compõe um caso comercial, para me dar muito de escravos.
Each year, they have to remove almost 3,000 slaves. And in the fort there, it wasn't enough place to keep those slaves. That's why they built this place to be able to keep those 3,000 slaves.
Então, aqueles que ficavam ali, aqueles que vão compor cesto, puto, cisterna, diferentes coisas que está fabricando na casa, seus utensílios, está começando a fabricar ali. E não só que escravos não trocados, mas eles estão nesse mesmo moeda, que coisas que não compor.
Those slaves, when they capture them, they allow them to build things that they know, to build traditional things, like a basket, a pot, other instrument that they know to build traditionally. They allow them to build those things. It's not only to sell slaves themselves, but they sell the product that they also construct by themselves.
Então, que esta dele, que essa resistência, suma já tira manga resistências, falei para ele, já tira manga resistências. Aquilo que faz com que se caçolora, para preparar comida para o próprio escravo durante o processo de embarque. O processo é valente, tendo em conta essa resistência.
So the way they used to resist the transportation, those slaves, they used to resist colonialists too much. So that's why they bring this pot. This is a cooking pot to be able to cook for them. So then as long as they maintain them here, they will be cooking for them.
Mas a comida que está preparada na era uma comida mole, que dá os na cachupa. Negativa de ingredientes, depois é fribil.
They don't bring the hard food for them. They just cook a very soft food, which we call here cachupa. Cachupa is mixed with bean, small meat, and something like that ingredient. So then it won't be giving them difficulty. It's a very soft food.
Cachupa, nega que vai servir depois não servir na mão. Cada escravo na sua só Simão, aqui na sua estômago até outro dia. E devia estar aqui tampinho que tem que sua água que é 2 dias por dia.
So when they cook finish, they will serve them in your hand. You have to join your hand like this. You receive your food there for 24 hours. And then they give you some water in a bottle cover, 2 times a day.
Até segurando como um escravo com ele que bali que pisado e na da corro que tempo não tem doenças, mas fica barrado. E como se dá que bali, dá comida que tem bom ingrediente. E na força para poder gerar aqueles.
So their mind is that if they give them that food and no food to eat, they will become sick. That's the justification, but that wasn't true. It means that if they give them enough food, they will be having strength to fight them, to resist them more. That's why they give them that a piece of small food, just and then they become weak. This cook wasn't here, was in the fort there. They brought it here to more security, but because there they have the security guard there. Do you understand about this, cook? Okay, now you are free. When Portuguese people discovered Cabo Verde was an empty island. No one was there. So they come here, capture some Manjago people to take them to the Cabo Verde. That's why Cabo Verdeans classified anyone from the continent here as Manjago. As long as you go there, I was there 2 times. They ask you, are you Manjago? Are you Manjago in Cabo Verde? So they put Manjago there, not only to put them, but they allow them to make this wrapper. This traditional Manjago's wrapper. They make it, so then when they make it, Portuguese people take those things to take them in other market to change it with mirror, wine, gold, diamond, and all the things. They bring it to go inside the bushes or the villages to capture some slaves to come and build them somewhere else. This is the foundation of the city of Cacheu in 1588. 16th century. This is the fort that built that they start founding a city in Chacheu here. In the same year that The same year that they started constructing the cathedral. It's the first church that been constructed in West Africa entirely, this church.
Nós temos um lugar santuário, né? Que tudo tudo cristãos aqui, né? Passa para peregrinação para Cacheu.
Now it's considered as a sanctuary where all Catholic in Guinea Bissau come for the peregrination.
Primeira semana de dezembro.
In the first week of December. The slavery that started in
1446.
In 1446 that they start this slavery, and they put it as an official in 1501 to 1550. That they start officially doing slavery, taking them automatically to somewhere like in America or Europe.
Então, é começando a contabilizar o número de escravos na mercado. Consegui tirar de 1.144.300 escravos.
Therefore, they start counting the slaves that they're removing in Africa here until they reach 1,144,300.
Só ali na Cacheu.
Only here in Chacheu.
Na África em geral, consegui tirar 12.521.300 escravos.
In entire Africa, they remove 12 million or 21,300.
Esse é o registro. O que é resistado? Aqueles que morrem é conseguir resistar.
This just those that are resisted, been marked. Those are not marked or died along the journey. They don't count them. Just slave, like different company, as you can see down there in that picture there. Different company with the symbols, the symbol. If they capture you, they will turn your back and put them from China or your product from England or product from. They put this thing in fire until it become red. Then they put you in your back.
Tem que over sair na Cacheu.
They have to stamp you here in Cacheu.
Não é entrar Cabo Verde, toma entrar Cabo Verde.
When you are reaching Cape Verde, they will stamp you there.
Alguns toma sair na Cabo Verde.
When you are leaving Cape Verde again, they stamp you.
Alguns entrar Brasil, toma entrar.
When you reaching Brazil, they stamp you there.
Ninguém comprou se proprietário da Cacheu.
Whoever is coming to buy you as your owner, it will stamp you again.
Se cada ponto que chegava, se chegava Cacheu, uma pirriga nome que sai daquela tabanga, dá novo nome.
Anytime, any port you reach, like if you come from your village, they bring you till here, you lose your name. They will change your name. When you get to Cape Verde, they will change your name again. When you reach Brazil, they will give you another name. Wherever you reach, they stamp you and they give you a new name.
So that stamp is a name, or is a punishment, or just?
No, it's a mark for you to be marked. Black governor called Honoré Barreto.
Primeiro intelectual guinense.
Is the first Bissau Guinean intellectual.
Ele é responsável pela construção da nossa território. Ele conseguiu ser inglês na Bulama, francês na Varela, francês na Casamance e holandês na Varela.
He is the one who threw away Portuguese people in Bulama, Holland people in Varela, and French people in Casamance. This is a stick. When you are becoming something like we are doing here, making noise, they use it. Very soon we start using it on you. This is a chain. Where the chain, this is for the. This is for your feet. They put two people, as you can see, the picture there. They put in your, like in your right hand, the other guy left hand. They chain you cannot run. This for the hand. They start bringing some priests. You know, those priests are traders themselves. They will come to tell you that they go inside the bush like a kind of evangelization. No, if you are choosing as a slave, make sure God chooses you to take you somewhere. Don't resist and don't deny it. When they go to your family, they will put those things like wine, mirror, tobacco, and other products. Your family will choose. One bottle of wine will be 2 slaves. 1 stick of tobacco is 2 slaves. 1 mirror, 2 slaves. Your family will be given preference to choose one and handle you to them. You can see this is inside the ship. This is inside the ship, as you can see. You know, the way they place them inside the ship, slaves, Those strong men, they put them here. As you can see, they lie down here. Those strong ones.
Esses jovens que naquele sei.
These young that are still growing.
Mulheres,
These are women.
meninos.
Those down there are kids, children.
Cada quem tem essa função. Esses abaixo da força de trabalho.
Huh?
Esses abaixo da força de trabalho mais pesado.
These strong ones are going to handle the handwork. Handwork, heavy handwork. Yes.
Esses que não vêm substituir-se.
These are the substitutes. When these are done, this one we are coming to replace them.
Essas mulheres, têm duas missões.
These are women. They have two missions.
Eles são responsáveis por sua agrícola.
They are going to be agricultural responsibility.
Ele puseram para casa com os escravos, para tapar demais os escravos, atualmente os escravos.
So they will handle them with another slaves to marry them. So then they will procreate many slaves.
Esses é na base similar à cultura europeia, é nega cultura africana, é nega no práticas, tudo que vocês negam nós. E alguns deles também vêm ser governantes na África. É maneira que ele é de branco.
These people, they will transform their mind, as European citizen. They will never even think about being African again. So when they change the conception, the way they think, they will bring them back, to be able to rule us as European themselves. They will be not thinking that like African again. Carrying them, they put them anyhow. You die, you die. You survive, you survive. They don't even care.
Those that
are tired, they used to throw them in the water. If you talk too much or you are arguing too much, they put you in the water. You better keep quiet and try to survive. Yes. They almost, this is a resistance. Those that are captured in Freetown, they bring them here and capture some. Along the journey, one slave escaped, which is the name? Jose Vicente. Jose Vicente, and they freed others. They kill all white people there until they leave one who used to drive the ship. And they asked him to bring them back to Africa. As they don't know the route, the man took them to United States. When they get there, the United States has already abolished the slavery, and they captured the captain, jail him, and they send those back to Africa. As they don't know the route, they take them somewhere. These are the ones that escaped in Brazil and other sides. They used to go and found their own side called quilombolos. Creole that start in the 16th century here in Cacheu. These, when they bring European people, they will come and get married with the indigenous here. When they are born the children, they call them lançados. Those lançados, when they marry again, they get the children, they call the other group grumettes. Those grumettes, they serve as a collaboration between white people and indigenous. Through that collaboration, they start with Creole. See, because those grumettes, we see them as a part of us, because they're no more black and neither white people too.
Guinea Bissau here, this was their first capital. Why was it their first capital? Because it was an economic activity center. When slave trade was abolished, the coming of what we call the Industrial Revolution and the legitimate trade enabled people to move because the business that was stationing here people is no longer in existence. So the concentration of the capital have to move. That's why it was moved away. If you go to Gore, was the first capital city of Senegal during colonial days, but later moved to where Ziguinchor, or this place rather, St. Louis. But due to the expansion and the population size and the area, it was later shifted to where? Dakar. Today, if you go to Dakar, Dakar has been congested, deeply congested. But because of what metropolitan architectural way of physical plan doing their expansionist strategies, Dakar now has been expanded to a new city where it is called Diamniadio. Diamniadio becomes the face of Dakar, an extension where economic activities and industrial hubs have been created. You come to the Gambia, so unfortunate, when it comes to activities of trade, James Island should always be remembered. because it was among the first places where trading activities were centered. But was it one time our commercial or capital city? No. The founding of Batos turned it to be a strategic waterway to monitor and also contribute in the trading and economic activities, and later turned to be our capital and ever capital. The name shifted from Batos to Banjul. So looking into the similarities, you come to appreciate and understand that all these slave centers have what we call a freedom center, where people were entitled with their freedoms. If they reach at that place, particularly like if you go to Janjambure, there is a freedom tree. But the price to pay to reach at that place is between life and death. So you come here also, there's another statue elsewhere where it is dedicated as a freedom center. If you are able to escape and reach at that place, you have been free. You go to Gore, and likewise, these are things that we experience. But one fundamental important thing is we should appreciate in trying to build a comparative analysis to see immediately after the post-colonial era, why were most of the metropolitan cities transferred from one jurisdiction to another? Is because of expansionists and because of what connectivity to the rural people and strategies. That's why it is essential for us as youths and future leaders to think beyond trying to expand Banjul. Banjul can no longer be expanded. But what we should build in mind is we needed new cities. We needed that expansion so that the Gambia can be opened up. We're thinking of how to open it to LRR, how to open it to North Bank, to make sure that more development and more competitive buildings comes into place. But no matter how we try to modify Banjul, Banjul will ever remain to be Banjul like that. So far, so good. We get back to the boss and say bye-bye to Cacheu.